الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلق من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أعاذنا الله وإياكم من النار وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل عباد الله إنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. Here we are gathered and assembled in one of the houses of Rabbul Alameen, a place that is sacred for all of us, a place that is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a place that is not like any ordinary place. The houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has legislated في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال. Houses that Allah has ordained to be elevated and raised in His remembrance. Houses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated for it to be a place for His act of worship, for the act of worship of His servants to occur there. These houses, are the symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. Whoever immenses, whoever venerates the symbols of Allah, then it is from the piety of the heart. ذَلِكَ وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ حُرُمَاتِ اللَّهِ فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ. Whoever shows this value, this level of respect, this due importance for the sacredness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His Masaajid, the places that stand out, and any other places. In fact, it is the most beloved of places to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It comes in Hadith Abi Hurairah and Sahih Muslim that our noble messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, أَحَبُّ الْبِلَادِ إِلَى اللَّهِ مَسَاجِدُهَا. The most beloved of places, the most beloved of areas is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These houses are the backbone of our communities. These houses is the success for ourselves, for our families and our children. These houses where we seek refuge from the fitna that are found thereout. It is upon us to show how important the houses are. Whoever maintains them, whoever strives to fulfill their rights, the houses of Allah, the mosque, then this is a sign of Iman. إِنَّمَا يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَأَقَامَ الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَى الزَّكَاةَ وَلَمْ يَخْشَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, these are the people who immense and take care and maintain these houses. They fulfill the mannerism therein. They don't take it as one of their houses. These people, they believe in Allah in the last day. They establish the salat and they carry out paying the zakat. And they don't fear anyone except Allah. When they enter that door, they have a sense of awareness that this is not like any other place. They start off with the etiquette, the mannerism. They don't come into the house of Allah raising their voices, forgetting even to make dua. This is how it's become. We forget where we are. As when we enter certain buildings on the streets, you enter and it says rules and regulation. But when it comes to the house of Allah, we forget where we are. We start forgetting that there's specific rules and regulation. There's etiquettes, there's adab. Try to have that awareness when you enter into the house of Allah. This is the respect that we should have. For verily, this place, if it's attached into our hearts, and we have that awareness, perhaps we'll be shaded on the day where there's no shade except His. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as it comes in that hadith of Abi Hurairah, al-Bukhari and Muslim, سَبْعَةٌ يُظِلُّهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي يَوْمٍ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلُّهُ. On a day there's no shade except His, He will shade a group of people. 7 types of people, and from amongst them, رَجُلٌ قَلْبُهُ مُعَلَّقٌ بِالْمَسَاجِدِ. A man whose heart is attached to the Masajid. He knows when he comes here, this is not like any other place. This is not the house of your friend or the house of your neighbor. This is the house of your Creator. You come in here, you show the mannerism and the etiquette. You fulfill the rights. Let us have that awareness. Teach our children the adab of the Masajid. When they come, they know the etiquette. They know certain affairs regarding this house. As well, we teach our women. The Prophet ﷺ did not prevent the woman from entering to the mosque. As it comes in the hadith, Ibn Umar, لا تمنعوا إماء الله المساجد. Do not prevent the woman from entering the Masajid. However, he suggested and he ordered with that affair. He said, وَلْيَخْرُجْنَا تَفِيلَاتٍ. When they go to the house of Allah, let them go in an honorable fashion. Let them go knowing that this is not like any other place. They come having this caution that they don't go with fragrance of perfume. They don't go with clothing that is going to display themselves as if they're somewhere else. As well, they go in there with an honorable way. They don't raise their voices. إِيَّاكُمْ وَهَيْشَاتِ الْأَسْوَاقِ إِيَّاكُمْ وَهَيْشَاتِ الْأَسْوَاقِ. From Hadith Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. that our noble Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be aware of taking the houses of Allah like marketplaces. People are raising their voices. People are chit-chatting. Everyone's talking about this and that. People are trying to pray and they cannot even focus in their salat sometimes. We need to have this awareness. It is okay for you to have some conversation that is needed in the house of Allah, of what you need to speak about. But do not forget the code of conduct. Have some well-behaved status that you stand in this house knowing where you are. The Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that it will come a time, as it comes in hadith of Abdullah Mas'ud, سيكون في آخر الزمان قوم يجلسون في المساجد حديثهم ليس لله فيهم حاجة. It will come a people who will, in the ending of times, they'll be found in the house of Allah. But their conversations, their talks with one another, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no need whatsoever in it. You find that maybe they have taken the house of Allah as coffee shops. Their main concern, primarily, is to come and tell people what happened in this land or that land. They get all together, sitting. Some of them do not even pray Tahiyatul Masjid. They don't even come and pray 2 rak'ah. From the etiquettes of the house of Allah, right thing, sit down. I need to tell you what happened with Wazir Fulani wa Ra'is Allani. This president did this, and that minister did that. And you find he's raising his voice, chit-chatting, forgetting where he's at. Have a conversation in a well-mannered fashion. Do not raise your voice over the musalli. If you're going to speak, be well-mannered. Remember where you are. This is something for us to be cautious about. We need to all speak about this. We're talking about aiding Islam in this land and aiding Islam in this land. We need to start with aiding Islam in the houses that we're founded. The houses of Rabbul Alameen. Let us preserve this symbol. What happens over there is a result due to our shortcomings and our sins. The ummah is suffering because of us lacking the basic etiquettes in his own house. Imagine someone were to come to your house and disrespect you in your own house. With greater preference, the house of Allah. Let us be cautious. As well, from the mannerism and etiquette that we need to have awareness regarding, is the houses of Allah are not places for business. Your worldly transactions, keep it outdoors. Remember that the Prophet ﷺ Naha al-bay' wal-ibtiya' fil masajid. He has prohibited buying and selling in the houses of Allah. And he said, if you see a man, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمْ مَنْ يَبْتَعْ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ فَقُلْ لَهُ لَا أَرْبَحَ اللَّهِ تِجَارَتِكَ. If you see a man doing business in the house of Allah, then make dua against him. Say, may Allah not make your business that which is profitable. That's how despicable it is. Do not, if someone wants to purchase or buy, or he wants to sit with you and do certain transactions of buying and selling, say, brother, let's just step outdoors and do it. Have some awareness that you're in the house of Allah. Remember, and also be cautioned that the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ أَتَى الْمَسْجِدْ لِشَيْءٍ فَهُوَ حَظُّهُ. Whoever comes to the mosque for a particular thing, then that is his portion of reward. He only perhaps gets that. Make your primary concern when you come to the house of Allah, the salat, qira'atul Qur'an, dhikrullah, seeking nearness to Allah, getting good companionship from the people here. Remember that. Everything else is side issues. If you want to speak to someone so afterwards, that's your affair. If you want to buy this or do that later on with this person, then that's your affair. But your primary concern when you come to the house of Allah should be for His remembrance. And we have an example from that. Our noble messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when that man who urinated in the corner of the area of the mosque, he responded by advising this man by saying, إِنَّ الْمَسَاجِدِ لَمْ تُبْنَى لِهَذَا أو لَا تُصْلُحْ لِهَذَا. The houses of Allah, this is not appropriate therein. He says, إِنَّمَا الْمَسَاجِدِ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَلِلصَّلَاةِ وَقِرَاءَةِ الْقُرْآنِ. The houses of Allah are for salat, remembrance of Allah, and reciting His book. This is the primary reason that we have the houses of Allah. Let us teach our children. We go to some mosque, some masajid, we find that the children, they have taken the houses of Allah as recreational centers, facilities as a playground. They come and play. When the imam says, or the muezzin says, قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, he goes right out the door. He leaves. His parents did not tell him that remember that you're in the house of Allah. If you're going to play, when it's time for prayer, put that ball down and go for salat. No one educates him. We find a group of them leaving at the time of salat. When the salat is over, they come back. This is what's happening in our masajid. And we're silent about it. We're speaking about problems in our communities. Look what's happening in our own mosque, in our own masajid. Our children are leaving the mosque when it's prayer time and coming back when the prayer is over. We need to address this. The masajid we should know how valuable it is. We should speak in our gatherings. We should remind the people that the masajid of Allah has its importance. It has that level of integrity that we should all have regarding it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us be aware of that. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بما فيه من الذكر الحكيم أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله على إحسانه والشكر له على توفيقه وامتنانه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله تعظيم لشانه وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الداعي إلى رضوانه صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. To proceed in reminding that the houses of Allah has etiquettes, manners that we should all be cautious about. Each one of us. We come to the houses of Allah, many of us, a number of times in the day. We should educate each one of us. No one should be ignorant about the manners of the masjid. As well, from the things that we need to educate ourselves and play a role in, is that these masajid, every one of us have a position they're in. Your local masjid, the masajid that you attend to, you play a role there. Do not just say the board or those who are there, they're going to attend to the needs. If something happens of shortcomings and everyone falls short in that, perhaps all of us take the blame. Our masajid, should be those supporting. We should be the people there, cleaning and supporting what we can. The Prophet ﷺ said from hadith, Samura ibn Jundub, that he commanded Amara Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam أن نجعل المساجد في ديارنا وأن ننظفها. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ordered with the masajid being our locality. So when it's in the locality of the people, it's easy for them to attend to be there. And he said as well, أَن نُنَظِّفَهَا. He commanded us to make sure it's clean. It is attended in a nice manner. Even the musallin, when they come, they realize that they themselves, they come displaying that of a respect for the Masaajid. For that reason, when we come to the house of Allah, we implement the verse of Allah, يَا بَنِي آدَمْ خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ. O children of Adam, take your adornments at the Masaajid. When you're going for prayer, beautify yourself. Know that do not just wear your clothing that perhaps doesn't display that you have respect for this house. Some people, they come from work, you find that perhaps they leave an extra shirt or something. So when they come to the house of Allah, it's kept clean. They come respecting. As well, their fragrance, they use good scent to make sure that this masajid is kept clean. This comes in the hadith Jabir in Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man akala thawman aw basala." Whoever eats garlic or onion, then let him not come to our masajid. Meaning, be in a state that you have the best scent. Let us be cautious. When everyone is praying, they should all be in the best manner, presenting themselves before their Lord. This is the house. Some people, when they're going to their neighbor's house or family relative house, you find he dresses up and he prepares himself in the best manner. But when it comes to the house of Allah, he forgets. He comes not clean. He comes in a state where he's not only affecting his affair, he's affecting the other people and displaying a bad example. So let us be cautious. Let us know that we have rules and regulation and mannerism that we all should be attentive regarding. As well, from the things that we should do, make it easy for the masajid. Do not just come to the masjid always and doing wudu there. Some people forget that the virtue lies in doing wudu from home or from somewhere else, if you're capable, and come into the mosque with wudu. The Prophet ﷺ said from Hadith Abu Hurairah, "Man tatahhara fi baytihi." Whoever performs ablution, wudu, then he goes to the mosque. It is written for every step that he takes, a good level raised for him, and a step, an expiation expiated. This is what you get when you come to the house of Allah with wudu. Do not just always be the people that are rushing in line, making it difficult for those who perhaps have certain circumstances and they cannot attend, and you maybe find that's the reason why he's late for the salat. We should all be cautious about that. Another affair concerning the masajid is that even when you're reciting the Quran in the masjid, you can't raise your voice, distracting others. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Kullukum munaji rabbah." Each one of you is in a state of counsel with his Lord. There's some people praying, there's some people talking about knowledge, some people memorizing hadith, some people memorizing Quran. What allows you to raise your voice over all of them? It is not allowed. So Prophet ﷺ said, فَلَا يَجْهَرْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ فِي الْقُرْآنِ. Let not one of you raise his voice over his Muslim brother. So this is the same. If this is regarding Quran, we're not allowed to raise our voice. Imagine people raising their voice about the worldly affairs. This is something important. Many of us are guilty. We need to advise one another. Ad-Dinu Nasiha, religion is sincere advice. The khutbahs was meant for us to address our social issues. If we do not speak about this in these likes of these gatherings, who will speak about it? Be attentive. Let's talk about these issues. As well, from the time of Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she said, if the Prophet seen how the women were, لَمَنَعَهُنَّ مِنَ الْمَسَاجِدِ, he would have prevented them from coming to the mosque. So for this reason, the Prophet, the scholars have taken from this that it's important that we leave a separation in the houses of Allah between men and women. men and women, for verily it brings that sense of awareness that this environment and atmosphere is an atmosphere that we're all attentive about the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if there is a need for the sisters to be going to the men's side, they should have a curtain. So every time they open the door, they do not make it difficult for the other sisters in the state where they don't want to be seen in an uncomfortable state. They should still have some shyness with it. If you're going to have to go to the men's side, then go with modesty and shyness and lower your voice. Do not forget where you are. This is very important. The Prophet ﷺ as well commanded concerning if you're looking for a lost item, if you lost something in the Masaajid, or you want to make an announcement that doesn't have any attachment to the masjid, it's not affecting the masjid, he wants to make an announcement. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا رَأَيْتُم مَّن يُنْشِدَ الضَّالَّةَ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ فَقُلْ لَهُ لَا رَدَّ اللَّهَ عَلَيْكَ. If you see a man, he comes to the masjid to make an announcement about something that is not connected to the masjid, then say to him, may Allah not return you to that affair. Meaning make dua on that person to show how despicable it is. فَإِنَّ الْمَسَاجِدْ لَمْ تُبْنَ لِهَذَا. The Prophet ﷺ responded by saying the masjid wasn't built for this. We're forgetting that this place, it is a place of worship. This place is not a place for politics. This place is not a place for amusement. We mainly make our primary concern the worship of Allah. If something happens on the side that is needed from da'wah, then there is a benefit. But all of us should teach our children, teach our families, that the moment when they enter the door, remember the etiquette. Start by entering by saying, Allahumma iftah li abwab rahmatik. Oh Allah, open the gates of mercy. And as well, do not be the latest to enter the mosque and the first one to leave. This is a bad example. Some people, they're the last person to enter. And then at the same time, they're the first person rushing to the door. This how is, yes, if there's a need, it's an emergency, or you have to go back to work quickly, we can understand. But every salat, Salaamu alaykum wa rahmatullah, Salaamu alaykum wa rahmatullah. You came late for the jama'ah, and you're the first one at the door. Where's the respect for the house of Allah? We need to be cautious about this. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an yahfaz alayna dinana. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve for us our religion. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an yufaqihana fi din, to give us understanding regarding our religion. And from even the basic of affairs, knowing the etiquette and the manners of the mosque. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقيموا الصلاة.